This story will tell you about a middle-class girl who faced various issues in her adult life, as she struggled to make ends meet after her marriage. Shanvi Tandon was her name, and she was a self-sufficient, honest, generous, and kind creature on this planet. Shanvi lived in a town in Maharashtra, India, with her parents, who sincerely hoped she would become an engineer and earn a living. Shanvi finally realized her dream of becoming a software engineer aka web developer when she was 21 years old, and was hired as a trainee web developer by an MNC. Finally, her professional journey began, and she was ecstatic about her ambitions. Her family was overjoyed for her, especially her mother, who was always rooting for her to grow into a good human being in the 21st century. Her father was a hard worker. He, too, worked for a multinational corporation. Dad was always supportive of Shanvi. He adored her from the bottom of his heart but never showed it. Shanvi was riding her career life cycle, and after a week at work, she met a few colleagues who turned out to be her best ever buddies in the future. It was a gang of 5, and they all passed their internship exams with flying colors and were promoted to full-time positions, live jobs, after only 6 months of training. Every day was a good merry day for them. As Christmas week approached, they made a big bang party announcement at work. The entire team was ecstatic to attend the Secret Santa party, which included gifts, and more gifts, as well as catering services, rangoli, and yoga sessions. On each desk, the discussion of how to dress for the lovely party began. Everyone was overjoyed and wanted to look their best, and what could be more joyful than secretly proposing to someone via gifts, if given the chance? A week had passed, and Christmas Eve had arrived. They were all dressed up and prepared with their outfits and gifts. By now, all gifts had been deposited on the desk, ensuring that no one found out who Santa was. Everything was in place, and everyone was busy finishing up their daytime tasks in preparation for the evening party. In the evening, they all jumped on the desk to find their respective gifts. These were beautifully wrapped gift boxes, each bigger and better than the last. Everyone was perplexed. Gifts were unwrapped at the same time, and everyone smiled because no one was disappointed with the gifts they received. The cake cutting process began, and everyone enjoyed the piece of cake before hurrying home to show off their lovely gifts to their respective near and dear ones. Well, no one had proposed. However, everyone received ideal gifts. I'm sure the reader is enjoying and experiencing this as well, or will someday enjoy it in their own life. Now there were only 6 days until the salary arrived, and everyone's salary accounts were happily and eagerly awaiting to be filled with dollars they deserved, so that they could be spent with all the thrill and might they could muster. Shanvi was both a saver and a spendthrift, so you can imagine how difficult it is to save money while also being a spendthrift. However, while saving is an important part of life, investing is a better plan than saving. Investing in bonds is thus a safer option to consider whenever the opportunity arises. I won't advise you on mutual funds or stock marketing because it's not my cup of tea just yet. Shanvi didn't save money right now because she was too busy shopping at malls and online stores. She was so picky that everything she bought for herself turned out to be very useful, unique, and would stand out in a crowd. Many people in her life envied her for being who she was in her own life. Shanvi was good at self-surveys, and her needs were the best combination for her to find the best outstanding objects to buy. You must be a picky reader. As a result, you're reading my book. Congratulations and applause for selecting this book as your interest. And my heartfelt gratitude for making me famous. There is always a new story emerging from somewhere, and I would do my best to provide you with some knowledge and experiences along the way. Do you know that when everything comes at you at once, it becomes difficult to deal with and you end up making some futuristic mistakes? This is also what has happened in Shanvi's life. It was not her choice, but who can predict fate? Life will teach you lessons that will help you achieve your goals and reach your destiny. Shanvi receives a call one fine day about a credit card offer from a reputable and #1 bank in India. She now considers the offer. She had never used it before and was looking forward to doing so. She took her time convincing herself, and because the credit limit provided to her was low, she thought let's give it a try. As she was a salaried employee and her non-working friends also had credit cards, this reason pushed Shanvi to have no other choice but to give it a shot. Shanvi finally said yes to the credit card provider, and she had it in her hands in no time. It didn't even take a week to get there. Shanvi had decided as a child not to take out loans for survival or for silly reasons, but how did she dismiss this idea when there was an alarm clock ticking to do so, because you never know what the future holds for you, kiddo. Shanvi had no idea that this was her first big mistake in life. She didn't use a single penny from this bloody card, but life showed her what she had done to herself. To do so, we must first dive into her tender mind. As we all know, life is full of obstacles that must be overcome. When you do your work correctly, you will achieve success. Now that she had everything she desired, she only lacked one thing, a lifelong lover. Until now, she had struggled in her love life to find the best partner of her dreams. But life had a surprise in store for her. She met a guy named Wasim, who seemed to be the icing on the cake. She discovered him on a social media app and they quickly began communicating. She met him on a dating app. He was charming, 5 years her senior, and had a cunning personality. He made her fall in love with him through his chats and emotional attitude, and then refused to admit that it wasn't a two-sided love. He had a unique way of getting things done. As a businessman, he thought he had better qualities to easily persuade people. Since his childhood, he has been lavished with every luxury. He was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. Shanvi used to spend money on him to satisfy his wants and desires because she was asked to do so in order to gain his friendship, and that was the only reason she spent money on him carefree. But she never realized that spending money on a guy was wrong, and that he should do it for her. Her gentle, innocent, and kind nature drove her to commit this horrific act. It's a shame she couldn't figure out what she was doing wrong. He enjoyed her gifts and every action she performed for him, but he never said he loved her by accident. He took advantage of her youth. His birthday was approaching, so he devised a plan to make her spend money on him. They had never discussed birthdays until his birthday arrived. It was a week before his birthday, and he had just teased her on the chat screen about when her birthday was. She told him, and he said, "Oh no." If he could have attended that one, he would have given her a lovely gift. Shanvi began to fantasize about what gift she might have received from him.